Our mountain road project is comprised of a number of smaller mini projects, 3 of which we're working on these weeks. The upper parking retaining wall, the septic tank container box, and the staircase access from the upper parking to the house. This week we're going to finish pretty much all 3 of those, and we've got a lot more activity going on as well. Last video we started this staircase, and there was a whole evolution of thought and planning going into that. Ultimately we landed on a temporary staircase, but still it has to be strong and sturdy and safe. So we're going to make that happen this week. Our concrete pour is going to happen this week. Also, we're probably going to have enough time this week to pour, wait a few days, and then pull off some of the forms. Also, we've got firewood that's been clogging up an important artery in the walking road for a long time. Got to get rid of that. Stay tuned. Slowly but surely, I'm still trying to make a space for all of my firewood, which has to get out of the way at some point. It's not a priority right now, but has to move at some point. We've spent a little bit of time this morning cleaning up our rocks and getting them out of the way. And now we're doing some measurements to place some tread supports on our, I don't know what you call those things, runners, for the staircase. Probably within today, the lumber guy will deliver the lumber that we need for the treads. 佐川急便さんですね。バックして、バンからトラックに移動します。Okay, this is going to be really easy, I think. It's very little volume. 7 windows and they're all small, so we won't have a problem. So I'm just back from the hospital, and while I unload the windows from the truck, Michio-san is starting on cutting the lumber that we also just received. You can see my hand is covered in a rubber glove. It looks worse than it is. It was a superficial cut. It wasn't deep at all, no stitches. And, you know, luckily, this was perhaps the worst accident I've had in 5 years on the mountain. the when I rolled the excavator, tipped over the excavator, there was no injury involved in that. There was just a financial penalty. But yeah, just cutting my finger while I was doing the firewood was a silly accident. Don't do this at home, folks. But ultimately it wasn't serious. I went to the hospital. They took care of me. No stitches required. Go back in 2 days for them to change the dressing. They gave me some painkillers, and I should be okay. So we're good. Hold on 1 second here. They're put together. The frame and the frame is all put together, and the window is enclosed in it. This is beyond exciting, because when I ordered my windows last time for my house in town, they came all unassembled, and it took me literally hours and hours and hours to put this part together, this frame part. It comes in 4 separate pieces, a lot of screws, and it's a pain in the ass to put together. This is all the work that I expected to be in front of me for the next 3 days or so, and it's all done. I just saved, like, first of all, I saved $1.5 million yen, because I chose not to go with my vendor and do it myself. And I've also just saved now 3 days of painstaking, irritating work.辛いそう。
辛いかもしれないね。やっぱ
買い物持ちながら。
持って。
まあでも手すりがこれから。
そんなことはねえよ。だから。
そうそうそう。That's it. We have got the staircase in, and it's Monday at 4:30. It's been an eventful day. We got the windows, and they were already put together. We started chopping up the firewood, or at least cutting it up, and we cut a little bit more than we expected. But most importantly, we got the wood delivered for the staircase. We got them cut, we got them finished, we got them preserved, and we got it in place. And it's high. Each one of those steps is high. But back tomorrow, because we're pouring concrete tomorrow. Okay, the race is on now. Preparations for the final preparations. It's always hairy like this, but the pump truck's here, the concrete's here. We're just removing the last of the coverings, and it'll be a few more minutes, and just a few more minutes, and we'll be pouring. まだです。
そっち出しちゃうよ。
Okay. これ特にきれいしなくていいでしょ。
山井さんここでバイクかけちゃって、
そう。
こっちかけばあるとね。
よいしょ。
それで私やるのは休憩。
ダメだよ。もうジョン俺生コーチの時にはジョンと2人で歌わないからね。
Okay, we're heading down to the next one. We finished the first level, the upper parking retaining wall. I'm still smoothing the top and smoothing the bottom, but the pumping action is done. Getting ready for the next truck as well. わざと。
いや、わざとじゃない。わざとじゃない。ジョンわざとじゃない。あるね結構。
OK、はい。Okay, break's over. The last truck has shown up. We're gonna fill 1.9 cubic meters of concrete in here. And then a little bit of smoothing and we're done. Not much smoothing, as a matter of fact. This is an easy pour. Okay. I'm being ordered to start smoothing.
ちょっと待ってて。ちょっとこの辺生コン出してもいい？このホースの分だけ。
The good thing about this pour is we don't have to worry about this open, exposed expanse right here, because it's all going to be buried under dirt and gravel and concrete ultimately. So the only part we have to worry about is the very top of this, what looks like a wall right now, but will eventually become a curb at the edge of the parking area. So we're good. I mean, we're going to be wrapping it up very soon. Everything's cleaned up. The vibrators are all back in the truck already. I'll take them back to the rental shop. Got to pick up a few supplies for tomorrow, and then we're gonna call it a day. And basically we're gonna let everything sit here for 3 or 4 or 5 days. We haven't decided which yet. We'll probably strip off little bits and pieces here and there to expose a little bit and see what's going on, but it'll be a full week before everything's gone and cleaned up. But at the same time that we do that, we start filling in all of this area. It's going to change dramatically in a week's time. Back tomorrow. Okay, we're back on site. We were rained out yesterday. We poured the day before yesterday, and everything is looking great. It's still too early to strip any forms, so we're just kind of looking around and seeing how things look, and everything looks great. We've had a busy morning though already so far. We had our gas company come and look at the site to tell us if we're going to use gas or not. My goal was to go completely electric, but particularly for cooking, we're thinking maybe we should have gas. And the really good news related to gas is I was expecting to have the gas canisters down here, kind of at the septic tank area, because it would be easier for the gas guys to, swap out the tanks. But they were adamant. They said it'll cost you way too much money to run the pipe from the house down to here. Why don't you put the tanks right up beside the house? And I said, but that's going to be so difficult for you guys. They said, not at all. So they're really trying to get me to save money and also to install gas. So I'm not naive about their goals. They want me to use gas, but they're offering me a really easy, cheap solution to getting gas too. So that's a good thing. We've also spent a bunch of time talking about the jobs that are in front of us now, and I'm going to give you more details as we get to those jobs. But today I've got a lot of cleanup to do up top. Michio-san is putting the handrail on the temporary staircase, and we will, just spend our day doing that necessary stuff. Okay, it almost feels like weather-wise we had 2 weeks of autumn. We went from blistering hot, sweaty, unbearable summer to, cool pre-winter, and just skipped over autumn altogether. Okay, so this morning we finished the staircase, got the handrail on. We cleaned up the place where we're going to start putting our our materials once we strip off the forms. All that form material, pipe and plywood and stuff, we're gonna set it all around here, out of the way, so that Michio can get started backfilling all that area and turning it into a real parking pad. I'm gonna work on the firewood, which means I have to pick up the chainsaw again. And I'm just a little bit leery about that, but I gotta do it. We gotta get it done. So we'll start with firewood. think I'm working just a little bit too close to my bees and they're getting stimulated. I don't think they like the chainsaw noise very much. Keep producing honey.ちょっと見えるよ。下から座りながら、まあでも葉っぱみたいでしょ。葉っぱに似てる。まあそこで、わかるよ。あくまでもこれ俺の目安でさ。気をつけて。よく見えるよ、あれ。Just setting up some guidelines for tomorrow's work. Taking out these two big stumps and continuing the line that we've started over here. This looks really nice and wide, you know, as a road. This looks fantastic. However, we're going to have rocks come out, you know, 3 feet from this cliff right here. And once we get rocks up to about here, then we have to level the earth, slope it gradually back up to its natural state. So there's a lot of work ahead of us here still. It starts with taking out those 2 stumps. Okay, while Michio is taking care of those stumps and widening the road down there, I'm going to get started on stripping off some of these supports. I don't think we're going to get to the front form today, but we're going to get rid of a lot of the crap around here. Well, with the first form off, this looks like a good solid pour. We don't see any air gaps or voids in the base concrete, and that's good. We didn't even pour into the base. We poured into the vertical portion and let it come over, and it all came over really well. So this is promising. First look. 結構綺麗になりました。土入ってないし、まあ少し残ってるが。Okay, we've stripped off the bottom part. We've looked at the concrete. It's setting nicely. It's still obviously curing, but it's also been a full 3 days now. So we're going to strip off the inside forms and just, release it all on this side. It'll be another day before we start filling in this area probably. And we'll leave the outside on until this inside is all, level and flat and, a nice usable area. Gaps. I see a few gaps, some air pockets. We ordered an extra strong mix, which means it didn't flow as nicely as a more soupier mix would. And so I see we've got some air pockets here. They're superficial, they're small. I can live with them, definitely. And this will all be buried. But we did get our nice chamfered edge, didn't we? This, you'll recall, will be our curb. So the earth, once we fill this in as a parking pad, the earth will come up to about here, and then the concrete will come up to about here, and we'll leave about 4 inches, I think, maybe a little bit more, about 4 inches there as a curb. And that'll go all the way around. So this is looking great. It'll be a nice curb at the end of the day. Okay, Michio-san has done a good job. We've lost our temporary driveway down here. We're filling it in because we've got so much dirt. We got a lot of work ahead of us still, but it's been very productive. We've got the parking pad now visible, and we'll have it ready to be filled in a day or two, and work will continue. So thanks everybody for hanging around. Come back soon. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I know there's a lot of new viewers. Last video we got like almost 45 new subscriptions and several thousand more views than regular, so I don't know what happened, but let's keep it up. Thanks for hanging around everybody. See you soon.